Sure. So, I mean, the European approach to this is, 150-page, 200-page, 300-page bills that just kind of special case crypto and, sort of create a new regulatory framework for it. And then the institutions that are going in to get the licensing, it's a fairly heavyweight process, and at the end of that day, you come out as a financial institution. It's a very not crypto native style of doing things, but it does mean that there's a 450 million person market across whatever it is, 26 countries that are all sort of tied together in a similar platform for asset issuance. Unfortunately for the Europeans, they built all that stuff before the Americans did their thing. So, old American regime was basically, sabotage of the industry by any means necessary, including things like debanking. And then you got this clean sweep of the Trump administration, and in all probability, the legislative frameworks and regulatory frameworks are going to come out of that administration are going to make the Wild West look like Switzerland. It's going to be really, really intense. There's going to be a lot of need for people to, manage their own risk in that environment, and it's going to result in explosive innovation, kind of replicating the American approach to the internet. The American approach to the internet was basically, look, you could do anything you like. It's just as long as you're not breaking the law as we understand it, we're not going to come over there and try and figure out what you're doing wrong. And that as an approach allowed this explosive growth in American internet companies' technology. That was not the approach we got with the blockchain. My fear is that MiCA is going to wind up being a little bit like Minitel. They're going to make a very, very, very rule-bound walled garden. And Minitel, for anybody who doesn't remember it, which is all of us, was the French internet in the 1980s, where you had to buy a specific terminal, you put it in your house, it sat there, you had a license that you had to fill in before you were allowed to publish anything. The entire thing was very government, very corporate, very heavy, and it vanished without trace when it met the open internet. And my kind of feeling here is that the American paradigm of, right, we're just going to treat this thing like the internet, tokens are going to be no more regulated than web pages are, knock yourselves out, extremely lightweight. I think it's going to produce an acceleration and an innovation structure like nothing that we've ever seen before. And I think it's going to be very, very rough on consumers, but that's kind of the price of progress.